Well, howdy there, folks. James, Political Friar, coming to you again. Got the University of Oregon hat on, and so we're going to talk about a political topic in this one. Specifically, we're going to talk about Ronna McDaniels. Ronna McDaniels, who's that? Well, she is the head of the Republican National Committee. That is the head of the Republican Party apparatus and has been since 2017. She was placed there with Trump's endorsement and has been leading the Republican political party ever since. The head of the political party's first job, first and foremost, is to fundraise. They are the connection between the donors who have political interests and aspirations, and sometimes they're just rich people who want to feel involved, and then the candidates. They're that bridge. They also are in charge of trying to enforce some degree of party unity, keeping the various factions that inevitably rise up in such big political parties as we have in the United States from attacking and hurting each other. And you know what? She's failed miserably in both. I kind of don't blame her, but undoubtedly she's been a miserable failure in her two main jobs. Her two main jobs: raise money and keep the factional infighting, down to a soft boil rather than a rolling, barrage. In the fundraising sphere, Ronna McDaniels did fine in 2018 and 2020. And when the Republican Party it started to embrace its furthest right fringe, she stopped doing fine. It turns out that people with a lot of money don't like giving money to parties that endorse unreality. When it became synonymous with being a Republican that Donald Trump won the 2020 election despite reality, her job became impossible. All the donors that had previously given billions and billions and billions of dollars to Trump out of their own self interests because of the policies that he put forward stopped. I mean, Thiel gave billions of dollars to Trump, and he's given zero. You've got Adelson out of Las Vegas who gave $1 billion to Trump and Trump aligned people, and he's given zero. Those are just the big names. The little names have abandoned the Republican Party in droves. See, the RNC at this point is reporting that they have about $3 million in the bank. The DNC has over 30. The Republicans can't raise money. They can't raise money because the people with money won't give it to them. This has happened already on a lower level at the state Republican Party level, but it's starting to happen on the national Republican level. And so we need a scapegoat. Whose job is it to raise money? Well, Daniels, of course, even though she didn't stop behaving normally. She stayed as a relatively normal party chair. Well, this isn't a normal party anymore, and so the fact that she couldn't raise money because of the true bizarre way that Republican inter-party politics has developed is her fault. It's not her fault. She didn't really do anything wrong, but she's the one who's going to be scapegoated because the enablers and fundamentally Donald Trump himself, who have authored this odd situation where you've got a truly tiny minority of a minority setting party policy, didn't aren't they're not going to take responsibility. No way. You think Donald Trump is going to take responsibility for the fact that rich people won't give him money anymore because he's unreliable? That's not his fault. At least he's not going to ever freaking admit it. So the Republicans are drastically behind in the fundraising aspect, and it's only going to get worse. See, what money rich people were giving to the Republican Party was being given through Ronna McDaniels because they believed that people like McDaniels would restrain the more nutty aspects of the Republican Party. Well, she gone, and so there's no restraint. And that means even more people are going to run. Watch for Republicans to have huge problems funding their political operations. Now, Donald Trump will be a bit immune to this because he's got a vast network of low dollar donors who, a good number of them, don't even realize they're giving him money every month. They need to maybe get one of those apps out there that says, hey, these are your recurring payments. Are you sure you want to do it? But those dollars are just not going to replace the big money. if you have a person giving $10,000 as their direct contribution to your campaign, you got to have a lot more people giving $10, and they just aren't there. They just aren't there. And so the Republicans are going to be starved for cash, which means they're going to be starved for TV ads, which means they're going to be starved for campaign staff, which means they're going to be at a bit of a disadvantage in getting their message out. Now, maybe Donald Trump doesn't care. Actually, not maybe. Definitely, Donald Trump doesn't care. He cares more about loyalty to his person than the success of the Republican Party as a party. See, this is consistent with Donald Trump. Trump first, then America, then Republicans, then whatever, but Trump first. And that the RNC wasn't serving Trump only was a ultimate offense. See, normally party apparatus like the RNC, especially during primaries, they're neutral. They're not going to donate to either side. They're not going to put their finger on the scale to either side. And we have a Republican primary. Donald Trump isn't an incumbent. And yet, the fact that the RNC tried to behave like normal people was fatally offensive to Donald Trump. And it turns out that Donald Trump has enough control over the Republican Party to demand that they don't behave like normal people. You actually have a political figure in the United States who can bend reality around himself, at least among the people who are loyal to him. Now, those people who are loyal to him are consistently burned. Rudy Giuliani is bankrupt. Ronna McDaniels, who was pretty darn loyal to Trump, is out of a job. Mike Pence was damn loyal to Donald Trump until he refused to do something that was blatantly illegal. And now he's dog meat. This is what happens to people who associate themselves with Donald Trump. They burn themselves out. And this is just another example. So we've got some 9 months before the election, where Donald Trump will be on the ballot, almost certainly. We'll see whether 9 months is long enough for reality to assert itself, or whether Donald Trump can, like a check kiting scheme, stay ahead of things. I'm optimistic, but I'm optimistic partially because Ron McDaniels is out. The next person who comes in, they're not going to have any better luck at this. They're going to do worse because they're going to have to be a Trump sycophant, and that ain't good for money. Anyway, it's just a thought. Let me know how wrong I am in the comments down below. Hit that like button. If you haven't already, subscribe. And just know I really appreciate you. Thanks.